everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different and I'm going to be answering questions about modeling. Now I'm just throwing it out there that I only have experience through freelance work since I was 12 years old. I've done a couple of different modeling classes and courses along the way, as well as I've learned a lot from experience. And I am not a signed model. I'm not claiming to be a signed model. I wish I was a signed model. Hopefully one day I will be. The first question is, what is the height and size requirements for high fashion modeling? And this one is a pretty set number. I want you guys to remember that high fashion is runway. The height requirements for high fashion modeling is usually 5'9" and up. Sometimes they'll make an exception for 5'8", and they also don't want you to be too tall. So it depends on the agency, and for measurements, it would be a 34 bust, 24 waist, and 34 hips. That number it's pretty solid, and if you're smaller than that, honestly, it's probably better, but if they want that hourglass shape, that 34, 24, 34. A lot of models are 32, 23, 34 or whatever, but as long as it's in the general area of those measurements, then you're good to go. So another question that I get asked a lot is, how do I get started and how do I get into modeling? This is really tough because there is a million answers and there's not one right answer to this question. I'm going to give you the biggest answer. You have to know someone. If you know somebody in the business, that's a guaranteed in. Another way is to constantly send in your pictures to the agencies. And even better than that, constantly go into the agencies. If they don't like you one day, they might like you the next day. They might like you the next week. They're looking for some different look every single day. One day they might hate you and say, oh, your hair is too blonde, your hair is too brown, your hair is too red, you're too pale, you're too tan, you're too whatever. But then the next day they'll be like, oh, I'm looking for a super blonde tan model, or I'm looking for a brown haired with wicked pale skin model. Like, it changes every single day. So do not get let down when you walk in there and they just hate on you, because they're gonna do that, and you have to grow some tough skin and just take it. You know, you have to be confident in yourself and know that I am beautiful no matter what these people say, and that I'm going to be confident no matter what they do to shoot me down, because I know I can do this. This is my passion and I'm just going to go for it. So I would say just constantly show your face. I mean, show up there every 2 months and just say, hey, it's me again. Here's some new pictures that I have. Like, check me out. Like, keep going in, especially if you live in a major city. Like, you have a huge advantage. You don't have to travel to do this. So I would recommend always going in, because going in is way better than just sending your pictures, because sometimes when you send your pictures, it just gets pushed aside to the intern or pushed to the other side of the room. Another way to get started, actually, and this is just like a little tip, is to look at magazines and look at the girls in the magazines and see who has a similar body type and look as you, and find out their names and find out who they're signed by, and then go send your pictures or go into that agency. Another question is, can I be an independent model without being signed to an agency? Yes, you can, but it makes life so much more difficult. To be signed by an agency, you have an agent, and their job is to get you as much work as possible, because the more work that they get you, the more money that they get paid in commissions on your work. I know from experience, freelance work is very, very difficult to come by, especially if you do not live in a major city, and you have to be very, very careful, because sometimes there'll be work posted on a website or something and it's not good. Like, it is not a real thing. It's scam, and it's just dangerous. So I would be extremely careful if you're going to go about doing your own thing. I would recommend trying to get signed by an agency. If that doesn't work, there's always good freelance things to do, but just, I'm warning you, please be careful and make sure that it's legit before you go and do it. So what is an open call? An open call is a set time that an agency will set aside during each week to look at new models. And basically it's probably a half hour to a couple hours time that's set aside each week for the agency, and you can go in during that time and show them your portfolio or show them your Polaroids, show them yourself, and introduce yourself as a model. So basically that's the only time that you're going to be able to just show up at an agency is during their open call. So if they don't say when their open call is on their websites, then I would call them and ask them if they offer an open call. If not, ask them where can I send my pictures, and is there any chance that I could come in and meet with anybody to talk about maybe being signed by you guys. During an open call, basically all that you will do is walk in. If you have a portfolio, you will show them your portfolio of pictures. If you don't, then just bring a Polaroid and just a basic picture of you against a blank wall and give that to them. What do I wear to an open call? So to an open call, you should wear something very basic. You should wear maybe a plain tank top with a little sweater over it if it's cool, either skinny jeans, leggings, something that will show off your shape. You don't want to dress up too fancy or anything like that. You want to have coverage on your body so that you're not walking in there with like no clothes on, but you also want to look presentable. Sometimes I'll wear like a nice just white wife beater tank top, some skinny jeans or leggings, and a little blazer or sweater over the top. You do not want to wear a lot of makeup, maybe just a little bit of mascara, a little bit of blush. You want to show them what you normally look like. Don't have a full face of makeup on like I do right now when you walk into an agency, because they're just going to be like, we have no idea what you look like normally. Like, we want to see you at your very basic level, and then we'll know that you're a blank canvas and we can work with you and make you look like this or whatever. Oh yeah, and also another tip, if you're going to be doing this, do not change your hair a lot, especially if you're getting pictures done. Do not change the color of your hair drastically. Or do not cut your hair drastically. You want to have the general same look to your hair. Oh, and obvious, wear heels. Always wear heels to an open call. You want to be as tall and as poised as possible. I would suggest maybe just a basic pair of pumps, any color. I usually wear either nude or black pumps because they're the comfiest and they are great to walk in. Sometimes at the open calls, they'll ask you to do a runway walk. So you always want to be prepared and be able to walk in the shoes that you wear to the open call. Do you need a modeling portfolio? Yes and no. I think it's always good to have a modeling portfolio because it will show the modeling agencies when you go in there what you can do and your different looks and your expressions, and maybe just gives them a little bit of a feel for what kind of a model that you are. That said, you really don't. You can walk into an agency and have a Polaroid picture and they may sign you. It depends on if they like your look. I personally like to have a portfolio just because for myself, I like to see what I can do. I like to do practice photo shoots. I like to just kind of mess around with photography and have people take my pictures just so that I'm comfortable in front of the camera, and that if I do get signed by an agency, I can just jump right into it and I'm not like, oh my God, like maybe I'm not good at this, I'm nervous in front of the camera, blah, blah, blah. So the more practice taking pictures, the better. Should I mail pictures into modeling agencies or should I go in? Go in. Always go into modeling agencies. You want them to see all of you as much as possible. If you just mail pictures, like I said before, an intern could just slide them to the side of the desk and nobody will ever look at them again. So it's kind of a waste of time. I would suggest, mail them in too. Go in and mail them. Do both. I definitely suggest that. If you can't make it, if it's in a city far away, then mail them and maybe follow up with a phone call. Don't be afraid to be annoying, because I know that they're like, we don't want you to call, blah, 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 but honestly, be annoying because that's the only way you're gonna get places. So, what counts as a plus-sized model? I love this question because everyone is shocked by the answer. A plus-size model is size 6 and up. Sometimes it's a size 8 and up, but usually it's a size 6 and up. Crazy, right? Like, think about a size 6 person, they are not plus-sized, but in the modeling world, that's how it works. The average plus size model, however, is usually a size 10 and above. And I'm gonna put this in perspective. A plus size in retail stores is a size 14 and up. But in modeling, it's a size 6 or an 8 and up. That's like double the size difference. So what my problem has been is that I'm in that in between. I'm a 6 or an 8, usually. Sometimes a 4 on a good day, but I'm usually a 6 or an 8. And that puts me in this little tiny bracket of wannabe models that is not really looked at, because I cannot really do plus size modeling because somebody would look at me and be like, wait, is she plus sized? Is she just curvy? Like, what is she? But then I can't do runway modeling because I do not have the 34, 24, 34 measurements. And I think it's horrible because I think that my size is what, I mean, a lot of people are my size and they're a size 6 and 8, and that's a very average size. And to not have a lot of modeling available for that size range is kind of upsetting. Look at the plus size modeling industry right now. It is huge. A modeling agency called Jag Models just recently opened in the past year or so, and they're out of New York, and they are getting a ton of great feedback because they are the first plus size modeling agency that does not consider themselves a plus size modeling agency. They're a normal modeling agency, but they cater to bigger people, and they don't get them campaigns that are plus sized. They get them normal campaigns, and I think that is a huge deal, and it is a step in the right direction for the modeling world. How do I get professional photographs? So there's a bunch of ways you can go about this. You can hire a photographer and pay for it, or you could go on a network like Model Mayhem or Explore Modeling, and you can network around and you can find photographers that will offer TFP or TFCD prints. And what that means is it's trade for print or trade for CD. So you can use each other's photographs, which is really awesome. And this has helped me so much along the way. The only issue is be careful. Always find photographers that have references. Make sure that the photographer that you're going to be working with is reputable and that they are nice and that they're not sleazy or a bad photographer, and don't fall into that trap. Be really careful and be safe. And I know that I sound like a mom right now, but out of experience, I would really suggest you doing your research before you go on a photo shoot. Also, never go alone to a photo shoot. If they say that you cannot bring someone because it would be distracting, say never mind, because it's not distracting to bring somebody. You can have somebody go walk away if you're uncomfortable with them watching you shoot. I mean, it's a comforting thing to have somebody that you know go with you to meet a stranger. A lot of photographers do not like for you to bring somebody else, and to me that is just really sketchy and really not cool. So bring whoever you want to a photo shoot, and if they're not okay with it, then forget it. Don't take pictures with them. Doesn't matter, you know? It's not worth it. Is Model Mayhem a scam? And is Explore Modeling a scam? No. They're not scams. They're reputable sites, but you have to be safe and you have to do your research on people that you're talking to and maybe potentially going to work for. Beware of creepers and scammers because there is a lot of them on the internet. I always recommend for you to do your research, like I've said a million times in this video. Definitely get recommendations from other models that have worked with them and make sure that they are a decent human being for you. So I hope that you all enjoyed this video. I know that it's a little different than my normal videos, but I hope that this has helped a lot of you girls and guys that are pursuing modeling to kind of get some of your basic questions answered and just get started and go for it. And I wish you all the best of luck. Hello everybody, I'm Clara Belly. Clara Big Belly I call her. She's a little shy. Channeling my inner Iggy Azalea.